Hi everyone, our topic today is heartburn medications. Before diving in, we need to take a moment to highlight how stomach acid is produced for better understanding of how these medications work. As you know, stomach is an acidic environment. It contains hydrochloric acid made out of hydrogen and chloride. We need both these ions to be able to form hydrochloric acid. So how does it happen? We have a type of cell in the stomach called parietal cells. It's what I illustrated in purple, made it big for explanation purpose. So once these cells get activated by certain substances, which are gastrin, histamine, acetylcholine, water, and carbon dioxide derived from metabolic activity of parietal cells and blood combine to form carbonic acid, H2CO3. As a matter of fact, carbonic acid is a very unstable compound. It spontaneously splits into hydrogen and bicarbonate. Hydrogen is transported into the stomach lumen via a pump named hydrogen potassium ATPase pump or proton pump. This pump uses energy to let potassium come into the cell in exchange of hydrogen, which gets kicked out of the cell into the stomach lumen. Now we need chloride so we can form hydrochloric acid. So how to get it then? We're going to get it by exchanging bicarbonate for chloride via a transporter protein, which moves bicarbonate into the blood and chloride into the cell. The chloride is then transported into the stomach lumen via a chloride channel. So now we have both hydrogen and chloride in the stomach lumen. They associate with each other to form hydrochloric acid. And this is how stomach acid is made. We'll get back to this scheme as we move forward. Now let's turn our attention into heartburn medications. In general, heartburn drugs can be divided into 4 groups. We have antacids, histamine 2 receptor antagonists, commonly known as H2 blockers, proton pump inhibitors or PPI, and alginates. What we're going to do now is briefly explain how these drugs work using our former scheme, and we'll discuss them in more details in later videos. Let's begin with antacids. These are salts of aluminum, calcium, magnesium, or sodium. They're bases, which are opposite of acids, and what they do, they neutralize acid already present in the stomach. In other words, they make stomach environment more neutral. They have no effect on acid production. Next, we have H2 blockers, and what they do, they block H2 receptors, preventing the parietal cell from getting activated. So we won't be able to make any protons, hence we can't form hydrochloric acid. Move on to proton pump inhibitors. They work by shutting down the proton pump. So hydrogen, even though it's in there within the parietal cell, can't get moved into the stomach lumen. So we won't be able to make any hydrochloric acid. And lastly, we have alginates, and what they do, they form a protective layer that floats on top of stomach content, which prevents acid from shooting up into the food pipe or esophagus. To sum up, broadly, 4 classes of medications can be used to relieve heartburn. Proton pump inhibitors and H2 blockers help reduce the amount of stomach acid. Antacids and alginates have no effect on stomach acid production. Antacids work by neutralizing acid already present in the stomach, whereas alginates form a physical barrier that prevents stomach acid from flowing back up into the food pipe or esophagus.